So we're coming up to party season, so today we're going to talk about having a child with food allergies and going to birthday parties and Christmas parties with a child with food allergies, because this is definitely not a walk in the park. And for most families, it can feel really, really isolating. So we just have some really good sort of top tips for you around this season. So first of all, if you're throwing a party and you don't have a child with food allergy, then just be aware, do not exclude children with food allergies. Food allergy parents are really in the know. They're very empowered. The children are usually very empowered as well, depending on their age. But please don't exclude them. I once heard about a school that used to make the children with food allergy wear a specific hat and sit in a different part of the lunchroom. Now, obviously, this is an extreme measure and it's extremely isolating, and it is definitely not best practice. But isolating these children and not inviting them is definitely rule number one. Don't do that, okay? If you do have children come in that have food allergies, then it may be better to cater for the party yourself and make the food yourself rather than ordering in. If you are going to have a birthday or a Christmas party with a person or a child with food allergies, then it's probably best to make the food yourself, unless you really trust wherever it's coming from. So that's just one idea. And then you can also ask the parent who has the child with food allergy if they want to supply food, because again, often they're very, very well versed in this. They might make their own cake so that the child doesn't have to miss out. And so give them the option, but just be really inclusive. It's really, really important. Be really careful about party bags. So party bags can be just as fun without food, or if you know a child has a specific allergy, obviously avoiding that type of food. But going with things like jelly snakes and Zupa Dupas, it might be a better option rather than any sort of chocolate or anything with coconut or nuts in it, obviously. But things that are not edible would be even a better bet. If the children are old enough to understand, doing a little bit of housekeeping before the party gets started, just to let them know, just be careful, don't share food if I give you certain things. And, you don't have to point the child out, but just letting people know is a really, really good touch. If your child has the food allergies, then make sure that the host is aware. Most people are going to be really accommodating, they're going to be very inclusive, and they're not going to leave your child out. So make sure they know exactly what your child is allergic to and what they can and can't have. Because it may be that you have nothing in your house and nothing in your party that has that in it anyway. Maybe it's just a peanut allergy, where often people don't really have that at birthday parties anyway. Make sure that the host is well aware of what to do in an emergency. So, not everyone is willing or able to give the EpiPen. Some people just would find it so terrifying. So you really need to know and find out that there is an adult or someone there capable of administering an EpiPen or dealing with an allergic reaction should it happen. Is your child old enough to recognise that something's happening? A lot of children over 5 and above are, they're really capable. They really know what their food allergy is, and they can be really, they can say things like, am I allowed to eat that? So make sure that your child knows they're going into a scenario where they're likely not going to know everyone. So it's really important for them to feel very empowered. Does your child have the EpiPen action plan and antihistamine with them? So you can get some really good little pencil cases and things. You can get things from Smiggle now. We can have all 3 things wrapped in one. And again, just make sure the host is able and willing to give the EpiPen if needed. What I would do as a parent is maybe offer to remain close by if you want to drop your child, and for them to still have that that time just for them without you being there. If you want some time to yourself, maybe you can still have that, but you just remain close. You can remain in a coffee shop just up the street, or even in the car outside the house. It's up to you. But if you being closer to the party is going to make you feel better and the host feel better and your child feel better, then obviously that's the best thing for you to do. If you want to stay at the party, absolutely verbalize that to the person holding the party, and I'm sure they won't mind at all. But you need to do whatever makes you and your child feel safe. Remember that a vast majority of the time this is not going to happen. Anaphylaxis isn't going to happen and your child will be safe. A lot of the time, if there is an allergic reaction, it might just be a mild reaction. So it is worst case scenario for anyone to have to give the EpiPen, but obviously it can happen, and always when it can happen, it is life-threatening. So it's always really good to just be prepared and make sure you're comfortable, and don't ever do anything that you're not comfortable with. Also, if your child has an egg or milk allergy, remember that the chances of them growing out of that before school age are really, really high. It's 80%. So we don't want to make those children too fearful of things like egg and milk, because when it comes to introducing it when they're of an age where they really know what's going on, then they can be really scared of that food. So it's really difficult to be able to verbalize to them at this point, egg and milk or one or the other is not something that you can have, but maybe in the future if they're old enough to understand, and that's just something to bear in mind. So yeah, in a nutshell, make sure that you're comfortable, your child is comfortable, and the host is comfortable of what to do in an allergic reaction. And most importantly, if you're the host of a birthday party, don't disclude these children with food allergies, because it's so common now. And unfortunately, the world isn't always a very safe place for these families. So we need to be more accommodating. We need to really make sure that these families are comfortable. And often these children with food allergies will feel more comfortable eating their own food. Maybe the parent will bring their own food. Maybe if you're the parent, you'll feel more comfortable cooking a bit of birthday cake for your child to take with them so that they can have a safe food. But above all, I hope you enjoy this holiday season, or if it's not holiday season when you're watching this birthday party is all year round. So I hope that you can feel included enough to be at those birthday parties and feel safe. So remember to follow us at The Nest. If you have any questions, you can also pop them below. And remember that we are here to help you with our memberships, with our new mum membership and our allergy mum membership. So let us know below and you'll find some links in there and in our bio too.